Hello and welcome back to Many Tribes One Kingdom. I'm your host Dustin, and in this week's video of 5 Minutes in Church History, we are going to be covering somebody very important. Oop, I gave away one of the clues. But first, I want you to hit that subscribe button, and while you're down, hit that bell notification, because I know you want to stay up to date on all of our videos for this month and the stuff we have planned for the future, because it's all very interesting. And if you love to learn as I do, I suggest you stick around. And we also have some other stuff, some brand new stuff we're going to try out. In order to see it, you have to hit that subscribe button and that bell notification so you're alerted to when it's going to happen. So without further ado, I'm going to drop a few clues so this way you guys can take a wild guess of who we're going to be talking about in today's video. So, first clue, he's one of the reformers. Second clue, he was a part of the early part of the Reformation. The known Reformation. Clue number 3. He was around, the 1500s. And I know some of you are going to say, oh, that's Martin Luther. Close. Unfortunately, that's not correct, though. And number 4, he was a part of the second generation of reformers. So Martin Luther was a part of the first, what would be considered the first generation of reformers, while John Calvin, I said who it was. John Calvin was a part of the second second generation of reformers. And so, John Calvin, as most of you know, you obviously hear the term Calvinism, which is described in the 5 letters known as TULIP, total depravity, unconditional election, I don't know them off the top of my head, limited atonement, irresistible grace, and perseverance of the saints. Wow, I can't believe I remembered that. But there's a lot more to John Calvin than just those 5 theological points. You see, John Calvin was very pivotal in the modern church and the way our current church is structured. You see, John Calvin, in his early life, he was going in to become a member of the clergy, so he went to the University of France. But his father contacted him and said, hey, look, you're going to need to become a lawyer. For whatever reason, he wanted to become a lawyer. So we had to become a lawyer, But after that, he felt a calling on his life to go back to becoming a clergy member, which honestly was the best choice that he could have made. And he felt that one of the best ways to do this was to learn of the original language, to go back into studying, which was a major movement, to go back and study the Bible in its original languages, in the original manuscripts, to go back to that way and to see what's been missing, or to study the Bible a little more in depth so they can bring that back into the church. We could use a little bit of that today, though. But anyways, I digress. John Calvin wrote the 10 Institutes, which helped to modernize or to bring about a new structure and a better structure within the church. And so, as many of you know who do attend a church, you will often hear, you often see a preacher, obviously, or members of the clergy who are ordained in ministry. And then you have the lay elders, sort of the people who take upon a higher role within the church, but are not ordained in ministry. And so John Calvin was very, he believed that the church should handle the church's business, stuff that's on a biblical matter. And it means judgment of sins. Not judgment of sins, but to sort of guide the life of a person based on a biblical standard. And the government can handle outside of that realm. But ultimately, the government and the church were 2 separate entities and could not affect each other. Because what was happening in this time period was that the church was being greatly affected and being dictated what to do by the government, because the government felt that it was more powerful than the Pope. Although I will say, and this is again a digression, the Pope doesn't really hold any power. But anyways, John Calvin said, no, look, the church he's got to handle its business. And so John Calvin honestly was, one of the biggest inspirations for the modern day style of preaching and how the church is. So thank you for sticking with us. And remember, hit that subscribe button and that bell notification. You're gonna love what you see coming down the line.